Hello everyone, my name is Ankita and I am teaching as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering and Bachelor of Computer Applications in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram. I welcome all of you to the video lecture series of object-oriented programming using C++ and our today's topic is constructor, destructors and the different types of constructors. While writing any C or C++ program, we create or we build our program with the help of various functions. Functions are basically a collection of statements which are written to produce some output or which are written to produce some result from the operation. So constructors are similar like the member function, but they have some special purpose. A normal member function we can declare like this, as I have written here. The selected portion is showing that it is a return type, void is the return type, sum is the name of the function, and these are the argument list or the parameter list on which I want to perform operation. So this is the declaration of a normal member function, whereas constructor also acts as a function, as a member function, but it has special meaning because the name of the constructor is same as the class name. Like if I'm having class name with sample, then my constructor will be with the name sample, like this. Okay, so this was the declaration for a normal member function. A constructor have the same name as the class name, and constructor do not have any return type also as our normal member function. So these are the dissimilarities between a member function and a constructor. Constructor do not have any return type. Constructor are automatically called when we create any object, and if we do not specify any constructor in our C++ program, the compiler generates a default constructor for us. And besides these, constructor have some similarities also with member functions. Constructors are always defined in the public section. We understand public and private section. So in public section we define those member functions or those variables which we want to provide to be available outside the class also. So constructors are always defined in the public section. Constructor can be defined outside also. Excuse me. But outside we will define it with the help of scope resolution operator, and constructor can also have parameters like your normal member functions. On the other hand, as we have constructor, we have destructors also. Destructors are used to delete, destroy any object which we have created using constructors. And destructor function are also called automatically when your object goes out of scope. Out of scope means when any function ends, when any program ends, or any block having local variable or any delete operator you use in your program, the destructors are called automatically. Difference between destructor and normal member function. Destructors have also same name as the class name, but they are preceded by this sign. This is known as tilde. And destructors do not have any argument and they do not return anything. There can only be one destructor in the definition. Constructors you can have as many as you want, but destructor definition will be only one in your program. Like your normal member functions, destructors can made virtual. We have virtual member functions also. Destructors can also be virtual. So there are three types of constructor basically. Default constructors are used to initialize your data members through object in the memory. So look at the example here. If I have a class sample, I have two data members named A and B, and in the public section I have created a default constructor. Default constructor can have values initialized like this also, and if you do not want to initialize anything in the starting, then by default this default constructor will assign a is equal to 0 comma b is equal to 0, and if you do not initialize any value, but here we have assigned the value 20 and 10 and 20 to the a and b respectively. So display is another function to display the values of a and b. This is the statement where we are calling the default constructor. As we have seen in the points earlier, that constructor do not require any dot membership operator to call itself. They are called automatically when we create any object. Okay, so it is understood that if we call any member function, then constructor will also be get called in our program. So by writing this statement, just the class name and the object name, we call the default constructor in our program. So this is the output of the program. Remember one thing also, that if we do not specify any default constructor explicitly in our program, the compiler automatically provides a default constructor which works implicitly. It will not be shown to you, but it will work implicitly. The second one is parameterized constructor. We have parameterized member function also, like for example, like I have integer add. This is a function, for example, and int a, whatever I am writing in the function brackets, these are known as the parameters. So this is the parameter of add function, and this is it is returning integer type. So constructor can also have parameterized parameters, right? So to create any parameterized constructor, we need to simply add the parameters in the function brackets like we do in the normal member function here. So this is the parameterized constructor definition, or body you can say. I have created a class X and Y are the two data members here, and this is the parameterized constructor I have created. And what here I am doing, basically when I am passing any parameters in the function argument list or the parameter list, these are basically known as formal arguments. Whatever you are using or whatever you are writing or passing here in the main section, main function, in the function calling, they are known as the actual arguments. So these are acting as the formal parameters. So int xi will be assigned to the main data member, y1 will be assigned to the main data member, that is y. Okay, so and this definition is related with this particular line, so I have made both of them as blue color. So x is p1 10, 15. This is actually calling parameterized constructor. We need not to explicitly call any constructor with the help of dot membership operator, as we generally do with in the case of member functions. So this is the statement where parameterized constructor will be called. So this is the output, and there are two methods to call any parameterized constructor. One is explicit call and the implicit call. Explicit call contains assignment operator, and assignment operator class name and the object name is equal to class name, and in the function brackets you need to pass the actual arguments or the values. And this is the statement which we have written here also. So this is called implicit call, and where we are using assignment operator, this is called explicit call. Third one is copy constructor. Copy constructor. See, a class can have as many objects as we want. So to pass values of one object into another object, we use copy constructor. It is also again a member function, special member function, which initializes an object using the another object of the same class. Another object of the same class. Whenever we do constructor overloading means when we are having more than two constructors in our program. So whenever we are doing constructor overloading, that is we define one or more known default, yani ki parameterized constructor with the parameters. So for a class, so a default constructor should be explicitly defined. If we do not have any parameterized constructor, then compiler automatically creates a default default constructor. But if you are having collection of parameterized constructors in your program, then you should explicitly define a default constructor. However, it is not necessary, but it's considered to be the best practice always. Yes, if you are writing any program, we should try our best to ease the compiler in any way as we can. So this is the example of copy constructor. Again, a sample class, x and y are the two data members of the class. Sample x and y, this is the parameterized constructor, and this section which I have made colored as blue, this is called the copy constructor. See, copy constructor, as we discussed, as we have seen earlier in the definition, that copy constructor copies the values of one object into another object. So obviously the list of argument will be having the object as argument. Usually whatever object you are passing here in the parameter list, that is kept as constant object, and they are usually passed as the reference. So if there are chances of getting value changed later, so it will not affect the calling of the constructor, so it will remain same only. Okay, if there are chances to accidentally getting the value changed, but by keeping it constant and by passing the values as a reference, it will protect to get changed in the values. So x is equal to sam dot y. Sam, sam is the object name, so this is the method to assign the value to the main data member sam dot x. Obviously this is an object of class sample. It will also be having x and y as its data member, as collection is the object is the collection of data members or the member functions which we have defined in our class. So sam is also having x and y. Displays the again a function to display the values. Here I have created one object 1 with this, with the 10 and the 15, so it is calling the normal parameterized constructor. The sample obj2 is equal to obj1. When I am writing this statement, it is what I am doing, I am assigning the values of object 1 which I have assigned in the previous statement. I am assigning these values to the obj2. So this is known as the explicit calling of the copy constructor. I have used the assignment operator here. This is explicit call, and when I am writing this statement in this manner, object 1 as the parameter of the object 2, so this is the implicit call of the copy constructor. So same I can copy here also, but I will change the keyword explicit to implicit here. Okay, the rest of the function statements goes as normal. The normal constructor, it will display object 1 will display 10 and 15, and the object 2 will display 10 and 15 again, because we are copying the object 1 into object 2. So the syntax goes like here. I have shown class name, the number of parameters having the list of arguments or the parameters which are usually object as arguments. So object will be passed here. This was the syntax, and this is the example. We have seen the complete example also here. So this is the syntax of, or this is the example of creating any copy constructor in your program. Now in case of copy constructor, this is the again example. When we have a copy constructor, so again, as I said that in some circumstances compiler creates its own default copy constructor, its own default constructor. So in copy constructor also, compiler creates its own copy constructor when we do not explicitly mention it, but we are still using such type of statements. See here, if I am writing any statement like this in my program, and if I do not have any definition related to copy constructor, still compiler creates its own copy constructor, and in that case that is known as built-in copy constructor. And if we are writing any definition here like this in my program, this is known as the user defined copy constructor. So when copy constructors is called, basically why do we need to create it? To copy object 1 data into object 2, we need to have copy constructor also. And then when we have object with the same class type, when we want to pass object as argument in my constructor or any member function, then usually also we create copy constructor. And when the function returns any object of the same class type by value, in that case also we use copy constructor. See, with this example, I hope it should be clear to all of you that the main purpose of having copy constructor was to just copy the content of object 1 into object 2. Okay, so for that case we have to pass object as argument. Here A is the class name, I is the object, which is passed as reference. When you are writing any copy constructor, you need to just keep in mind that value will be always passed as reference, and you are copying the value, so this statement will be there. Whatever object you are writing here, it will assign its own data members to the main data members for which class you have created constructor. So ये यहाँ पर assignment हो रहा है. Then copy constructor can be created in two ways. First is default copy constructor and user defined copy constructor. As I said that if you do not specify, or if you do not write any definition for the copy constructor in your program, and still in main function you are writing this statement, student s1 is equal to s2, then a default copy constructor is made, and that is done by the compiler only. Compiler creates or supplies its own default copy constructor, which is also known as shallow copy constructor. And user defined constructor, copy constructors are those copy constructor which we create, which user defines, or which programmer explicitly writes. So copy constructor can be divided into two, or the copies which are created by copy constructor, they are divided into two sections, shallow copy and the deep copy. Shallow is the default copy constructor obviously, and it produces a shallow copy of your constructor. A shallow copy is defined as the process of creating the copy of an object by copying the data to all member variables as it is. We will have an example here. Here we have two data members, one pointer variable, and this is the default parameters, default constructor you can say, but here I have used a new operator, and any constructor with new operator, it becomes a dynamic constructor. So this is the dynamic constructor. Next is the simple input function to set the data or to take input for x, y and z. X is assigned to A, Y is assigned to B, and Z is assigned to pointer P. So void show data will simply display the values. Here come, this is the important section. See, demo D1, I have created one object here, so it will implicitly call a default constructor. I have called the set data to initialize the values x, y and z, and in turn I am assigning these values to A, B and pointer P. Demo 2 is the another object is equal to D1. I am assigning D1 values to the D2. So this is basically copy constructor is getting called here, but I do not have any copy constructor definition here in my program. See, program is starting from here and I do not have any copy definition here, copy constructor definition here. So it is called a shallow copy constructor. This is just a show data, just a message, just a function to display all the three values for x, y and z. So this is the pictorial representation. I have created two objects D1 and D2. A, B, pointer, obviously pointer is a variable. Shallow copy constructor creates a shallow copy of this same object, like I have passed D1 into D2. So I have here same values will be copied here. But P, because P is a pointer variable, of course it points to the memory location, so it is pointing to the integer 7, so it will be same. In above case there is no copy constructor definition, yes, and shallow copy constructor will be created. So with the help of assignment operator I am assigning D1 values to D2. Now what is deep copy constructor? Deep copy constructor dynamically allocates the memory for the copy and then copies the actual value. Both the source and the copy have distinct memory locations. We will directly jump on to the diagram here. Just have a look. We have two objects like D1 and D2. This is D1 and this is D2. So AB and P, the pointer in this case, deep, in the case of deep copy constructor, it will be pointing to the different locations. Both objects will be having separate locations in the memory, but in shallow copy constructor both are sharing the same memory location. So deep copy constructor is just a copy constructor which we also define in our program. Okay, if we are writing such statement for this statement I will definitely be having a definition. So look at here. This is the function definition for the deep copy constructor. So all in generally, if I am writing any definition for copy constructor in my program, that is known as the deep copy constructor, or compiler creates a separate memory location for each of the data members, and if I am not defining any definition in my program, so compiler assigns the same memory location to both the objects which I am trying to copy. Here in this my program I am having definition of deep constructor, and when I am writing this statement here, so that particular copy constructor is getting called. So we actually had a concrete definition of copy constructor, then we are writing this statement, and compiler is getting the impression that we have a solid definition of copy constructor in my program also. So it will understand in that manner. So it will assign the different locations to both the objects, like shown in this figure. This is object d1 and this is object d2. Both are sharing the different separate memory location, but in case of shallow copy constructor, the compiler will assign the same memory location to both, because we have not explicitly defined any copy constructor here in this program, but we still, with the help of assignment operator, assigning d1 into d2. So this was all about your constructors and destructors and different types of constructors also. So copy constructor is also very important topic. So this is the explanation of above figure. In the above cases, the programmer has defined its own constructor, and therefore statement d2 is equal to d1 calls the copy constructor defined by the user. So students, constructor is again one of the very important feature of object oriented programming system. So as we use new and delete operators for dynamic memory allocation, constructor and destructor directly works with the objects, because objects are the runtime entities and we are creating objects to represent a class, or objects acts as an instance of a class. It is having all the data members or the member functions of a class. So it is very fruitful, or it is very good idea to initialize objects in the memory as and when we are creating them. So constructor, by this point of view, constructor have very special role in the object oriented programming system. So the main question you may see in your examinations also, direct question can be asked that what are constructors and destructors. You can also be asked what are different types of constructors another question can be given, like explain copy constructor all along, because copy constructor itself plays an important role in the classes and objects. So explain copy constructor with its different ways to define. Okay, so because it is a standalone topic, so you will get direct question either, or there can be asked different types of constructors. So I would recommend you to prepare for your examination also. You can go through with the videos again and again, and you can create your own notes as well, because this is very simple topic. If you understand what are the member functions also, if you know how to handle member functions, how to work with the member functions, then you are ready to go with the constructors and destructors also. Constructors are basically used to initialize objects in the memory, and destructor plays the role to delete those objects from the memory, so that the places for the new objects can be collected. So this was all about constructor and destructors. Let me know if you have any query. You can ask me on my number also. Thank you so much for the day. Have a nice day.